For more on all of this, let's go to the former IDF spokesperson and senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, Jonathan Conricus. Jonathan, always great to have you on the show. This ballistic missile nearly hit the airport outside Tel Aviv. How did it get through the Iron Dome?
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth, for having me on. Always a pleasure. What the findings of the investigation by the Israeli Air Force indicate is that it was an interceptor failure. Actually, two different types of interceptors failed to intercept it, both the American THAAD and the Israeli long-range missile, which is unusual. And I think it is very dangerous for Israel to have its only international airport bombarded. We can already see that sadly, most international airlines have suspended flights, some of them until the end of this week and some of them indefinitely. That is significant economic damage to the state of Israel, and it really complicates things. And that brings me to, the Israeli response. When we look at what Israel did, and we understand what has been struck in Yemen, it's relatively soft. It is a very limited response. I would say that it's more blowing off steam than really making a meaningful impact on the Houthi military capabilities. And to be honest, I am not sure that anything that Israel is prepared to do when it comes to the Houthis will have a meaningful effect.
What is this, Jonathan? The U.S. has been bombing the Houthis for weeks now. The Israelis just bombed the Houthis. Obviously, you said it was not the most aggressive of efforts. The point is why is it so difficult to stop this terrorist group, to get this terrorist group?
Well, this group is entrenched in the rural areas and the mountainside of various parts of Yemen. They have almost infinite lines of supply from the Islamic regime of Iran, and they are not burdened too much by the humanitarian situation in Yemen, and they couldn't care about the consequences for the civilian population. So they are a difficult enemy to defeat. They're also motivated by an extreme interpretation of Islam, and if you look at their flag is death to America, death to the Jews, death to Israel, and victory to Islam. That's what they're about. So it's an enemy that is difficult to deal with. And frankly, if Israel wants to defeat them, probably will have to put boots on the ground. And I don't think that Israel is about to launch a 1,200-mile ground invasion against the Houthis.
Yeah.
That is why I think what we're talking about is really bringing it closer to home, and that is bringing it closer to the Islamic Republic of Iran. They're the ones that are equipping the Houthis with missiles. They're the ones who are providing the political directives. That is where the Israeli counterattack should go. Otherwise, we will see reoccurring events of this in the future.
Israel, in the meantime, today approved this plan to capture and occupy the whole of Gaza if no hostage deal happens before May 15th. The plan calls for the IDF to go in and flatten all buildings, move the entire population of 2 million Palestinians to a single, quote, humanitarian area. You must know the international opposition to that will be immense.
Yeah, and that's not accurate as far as I know. I haven't heard any directives given to the IDF to flatten the entire Gaza Strip, and I don't think that's
it's been reported in several places that is what it's called Gideon's Chariots, this plan, and that is what is written in this plan.
No, it isn't. I know that from firsthand from IDF orders. It's one thing what politicians may say. As you know, politicians all around the world, they have a sometimes loose relationship with truth, and that is not the military objective.
That's very diplomatic and probably putting it mildly. So when the politicians are saying we're going to flatten all the buildings, you're saying that is not what the military plan actually reads?
No, that is not the military plan, and that's not a military objective. The military objective is to get the hostages back, and it is to defeat Hamas and to deny Hamas any military or administrative capability in Gaza. Those are the real orders in that order, and I think that is what the IDF will do when it is told. Currently, what we're seeing is creating the capabilities, as you said, enlisting reservists and task forcing them and having them ready to operate. I think we're still a few weeks before that will happen. And Hamas still has time to return the hostages and to prevent that from happening.
And just, we've got 10 seconds. The families of the hostages are very upset. They released a public statement saying this is a huge mistake. This will put the lives of the remaining hostages at risk.
I fear that to be true, and I think that what Israel is trying to do is to defeat Hamas, sadly knowing that these cruel terrorists will not allow us to get our hostages back. But I believe that allowing Hamas to stay around and to threaten Israelis for the future will endanger lots of other Israelis as well, while I feel the pain of the families.
Jonathan Conricus, appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
All right.